Good day to you, one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Here I am in... where are we? Australia. This is... it's called the Gold Coast, surfer's paradise. Just been out catching some choice waves and just being a hero of the open seas. Not ironically, but appropriately, I'm going to be covering a Depeche Mode song today called Before We Drown. I've experienced that a couple of times this morning. So it came out on the 29th of January. I'm going to listen to it and react to it for you. Justin Hawkins rides again. Once again, apologies for the poor audio quality. Didn't bring a microphone, and apologies for the poor picture quality. I can't get my camera to talk to my computer, and also I'm just on the road, so apologies. Sincere, heartfelt apologies. Depeche Mode have shared a new Anton Corbijn directed video for the Memento Mori track, Before We Drown. Speaking to The Enemy last year, Gahan and Gore look to the future of the band after the current tour. The most important thing is to be putting out good music and that people like it, said Gore. Once we finish this tour, we'll take a break and then we'll see if and when we feel like doing it again. Up until now we always have, you never know. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, we just take each project as it comes. So I suppose he's just acknowledging the fact that, there's not much point in them doing stuff unless it's successful and they enjoy it. Fair enough, they're at that age now. So, how old are they actually? It's got to be in the 60s, I suppose. Tijuana Limited said the fact that this sounds modern yet classic is proof that they have always been ahead of their time. Yeah, I do think that about Depeche Mode actually. I've seen Depeche Mode play a couple of shows. I saw them at the Moon and Stars Festival in 2013, I think. And I saw them play at the Letzigrund, which is a big football stadium in Zurich. We played there with Guns N' Roses, and I think Dave Gahan is one of the great frontmen. He's a really brilliant live performer, and if you love Depeche Mode songs, you can do a lot worse than seeing them live. If you can tolerate everyone clapping on the one, go and see Depeche Mode. Here we go.
Drinking warm water before bed helps balance blood sugar levels overnight. Thousands of people are...
That's not aimed at me, surely. So it looks like it's in G. But done on the synthesizer, obviously. I love the way it cycles around that. There's a really cool syncopated synth part in there. It sounds like it's something with a slightly quite a round attack envelope and no sustain on it. It feels like boom, boom, almost like popcorn. Boom, 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 boom. But it's so exposed and really happens on the second revolution of it. It's lovely.
I've been thinking I could come back home.
I've been thinking. What's the third chord?
So how would that be? You and I alone.
So it's a a G minor. I think it's D. Could be D major or minor. I'm not quite sure. But it's whenever I hear that. So is that? A little bit like I'm gonna start a revolution from my bed. It's that kind of when it happens at the top of the bar, as opposed to finishing. It's not the major to minor as a la Creep. it's happening at the beginning of the revolution.
I have a feeling you're not on my side.
It's nice how he does that melody that picks out the major third. Because if you hold that note any longer, it becomes discordant, you know, as the inflection changes to a minor. So if he hangs over a little bit, as he occasionally does, it's kind of just this lovely suspended effect to it, which is obliged to resolve in his melody.
Between you and
A nice passing C there.
we drown.
It resolves into that. We drown. It's really lovely. This is good stuff. I think the thing about Depeche Mode is like they've got a tendency to sort of come out with a new album and then they'll go on tour. They'll play the whole of a new album, which some people consider to be, you know, a slightly self-indulgent move, and then they'll go and do the hits afterwards. If you see them at a festival, you're going to get all the old stuff and a bit of everything, which is really cool. But as long as they're writing stuff that's this complex and moving, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to hear the whole of the new record. It sort of seems less of a ballsy move when the material's good, you know. I can already picture Dave Gahan dancing to this and like pirouetting in a sort of bolero jacket or something as he does. One of my favourite frontmen. Did I mention that? Yeah, I probably did.
I feel so naked, standing on the shore.
And one of the things that I noticed when I saw them live was like if they do Personal Jesus or, you know, something with iconic guitar parts, they're not afraid to put those iconic guitar parts as within the sort of backing track, you know. So like what Martin Gore's playing isn't necessarily like the slide stuff that you might expect, you know. That's already in the accompaniment, and they're more or less playing along to that, and it's all synchronized with the screens and so on. But I've seen them do a thing where they started a song, I think Dave Gahan forgot to come in or something like that, so it meant that the screens were not in sync with the part of the track that he was in, and they had to stop the song and start it again. That is the downfall of that stuff that's way too, you know, choreographed, I suppose. You know, like when there's too many things on tracks and that are really dependent on the visual experience as well. You've got to remember to come in. You know, it happens to everybody, but it's kind of like it's much more of an issue when you've got that kind of arrangement.
Then we fall down.
So first we stand up, then we fall down.
We have to move forward.
We have to move forward.
Before we drown.
Before we drown. The words to live by, especially for those of us in the surfing community. I'm not in the surfing community. I wouldn't want to be part of any community really, but you know what I'm talking about. Momentum. They're talking about momentum. Maybe it's a philosophical need to plough and furrow new ground in order to not stagnate creatively, or maybe it's just like putting the past behind you. Whatever it is, it's a lovely message, whether it's surfing advice or just, you know, general life stuff. It's excellent. Worthy.
We drown.
I like the way it's we drown, so it's kind of like, it's the same way, it has the same sort of resonance as saying one drowns. You know, it's not suggesting that we all drown together. It's more like, oh, maybe it is so. Maybe it's talking about a relationship and like, if you don't put the past, I don't know. If you don't, maybe it's saying, maybe it's talking about like, maybe the drowning is the end of a relationship, which happens when you stagnate, I don't know. why am I spending so much time analysing it? And usually with Depeche Mode stuff, I just get the words completely wrong. I used to be really into them when they did songs of faith and devotion, but I was not singing the correct lyrics. I was superimposing my own life experiences on it and mumbling my way through. This is probably what I'm doing now.
we dread,
It's so huge, that.
we dread.
That Anthony Corbijn aesthetic is really recognisable, isn't it? It's sort of like, I love the way all of Depeche Mode's visuals are instantly recognisable as a Depeche Mode video, even if the members of the band aren't in a particular shot. You can just feel it, can't you? It's so accomplished. It looks awesome.
Before we drown.
It's lovely. That's actually one of the best things I've heard them do for a long while. And I'm a fan, you know, so I think I'm allowed to say that. Can't wait to hear it live. It's pretty affecting. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Justin Hawkins rides again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Watch one of these 2 videos and join the mailing list. Nice one, guys. See you later. Cheers.
Again.